All right, guys, let's go for a run. So it's been a little bit of a challenging week, running wise, and just life wise in general. Definitely had some ups and downs this week in terms of running. So to recap, we did a 2-mile shakeout on Tuesday, and then on Friday we did a 6-miler, and I was looking at the stats from that 6-miler, and I'll put them up right here. But the relative effort on that run, I don't know if you guys use Strava, but on Strava it tells you your relative effort. The relative effort for that 6-mile run was 20 points higher than the 8-mile long run from last week. And so that really goes to show you that if you are not, practicing good running hygiene, and by that I mean, nutrition, hydration, etc., across the day, and if you're super stressed, your runs aren't going to go well. They're going to reflect how you prepared. And so for that run, man, it was hard. And even in the video, you guys can kind of see, I'm struggling to talk and do all the things that I normally do in these. So I'm glad that we got through it. Yesterday, so Saturday, we got out for an easy 5-mile run. Very, very low effort. I think, across the run, my splits were above 10 minutes, some into the 11 minutes. And so that'll go up as a short tomorrow, so you guys will be able to see that. So that's what we did yesterday. And so today we're headed out for an 8-miler again. That'll put the mileage for the week again right at 21. And we're adapting really well. I'm feeling pretty good in terms of my body. I was definitely hurting a little bit yesterday, but so I went out to go get some new shoes. I ended up getting some Altas. I really liked them, but I hated the color they had at the store, so I ordered them online. And unfortunately, I'm headed to New York tomorrow for work, and so I won't be able to get them before I leave, which does suck a little bit. I'm trying to decide what shoes to bring, so I have a backup pair that I wear, just a pair of Brooks, and honestly, I don't love Brooks very much. I'm really not liking any shoe that kind of forces your foot into a weird configuration, and so that's kind of what Brooks are. They do kind of force your feet that way. However, I was able to get through that run yesterday with just such minimal effort and minimal hurt that, I guess these are what I will bring. I'm struggling with it. I told you guys that I don't remember what video it was, but I know we talked about the fact that I had some Nikes that I really liked and that I ran faster in, but that kind of ended up giving me some weird Achilles issues. And these shoes, these Brooks, kind of exacerbated that a little bit, and I got these kind of in a response to those Nikes. I guess this is a good tip in general for running. If you find something that works, try and stay with that configuration. And honestly, this is something that I have really struggled with, and I'll admit that I'm a little bit embarrassed by this, but don't always listen to what they tell you at the running store. I went to Fleet Feet yesterday. They tested me out. They did all the stuff. They put me on the plate. They had me walk. And, I did end up in Altas, which I was happy about, because that's, they're a very minimalist shoe, and they've got a wide toe box, which is what I look for. But man, the first 4 pairs of shoes the guy brought out, he was a super nice guy, very knowledgeable. He's putting in way more miles a week than I am, but they were just super bouncy and, very configuration oriented, very we're gonna, gosh, guy tried to kill me, sorry. Very forming your run for you. And I just tend to like the more minimalist stuff. And so the point of me saying all that, don't feel like you have to buy a pair of shoes at the running store because they have tailor-made their recommendation for you. I will be the first to say that I think now I have bought two pairs of shoes that I really did not like very much. I kind of thought I did in the moment because they were getting sold to me, but then I ended up having to get more online, and I always end up liking the ones that I get online more than the ones that I get in the store. Maybe that's just a purely psychological thing for me and none of it matters. Maybe I just don't like being told what to do. That's also true. But you know, definitely focus on what works for you. If you find a shoe that you like and that works for you, get that shoe again. And if that shoe isn't made anymore, you know, look at the next version of it. That's the problem that I had. I was running in those New Balance Rebel V3s, and now they're up to V5. V4, totally different than V3. V5, same. V5, they're like more of a platform, whereas the V3s, I'll actually show you guys in a second when I park, but the V3s, like, you can bend them all the way. And the fact that you can manipulate a shoe means that shoe isn't forcing you into a foot configuration that's going to cause an injury later on. It's going to be easier on your body because it's more flexible. So the trade-off there is that the run might be harder, and it might be harder on your muscles, but the fact that you're able to train those muscles, you're going to end up with less injuries overall. Because the reason that it's hard is because it's actually testing like your muscles, not just your it's not like forcing your body to like move mechanically different, which is going to end up causing like a problem in the long run. It's like driving with the wrong tire on one wheel. Like, the car is going to drive weird, and eventually you might break something because it's not oriented the right way. So that's kind of how I think about running shoes. And yes, oh yeah, let me show you the V3s. Hold on. Yeah, so if you kind of look at these, like these bend super easy, both directions. The thing that's tough about them, and the reason they're starting to wear it, like, when I'm pressing down right here, I'm pressing down with my thumb, like, I can feel my thumb on the other side. They're getting so thin and so worn down. And I've probably got, I would say, like 400 to 500 miles in these shoes, and I weigh about 220. And so, you know, really anything over 400 for me and my body, it's just like, they're gonna wear out. These Brooks that I'm wearing, I'll show you them too. You know, they're fine. Brooks are fine. People really love them, but I just tend to think that they're a little bit stiff. So these are more flexible. They're a lot more flexible than a lot of shoes. But they've still got this like really high heel and this really large toe, like heel to toe drop. I think the Rebels, they have a 6mm heel to toe drop. Those Altas that I got are 0. And you know what? Like, I liked running around them in the store. I might get out on the trail and absolutely just despise them. So it's, you know, when you find a shoe that you like, stick with it. That's the whole moral of that story. Today we're just gonna do like last week. We're again gonna focus on heart rate. I'm pretty well hydrated today, and I've taken pretty good care of myself. I've eaten well. My carb stores are like absolutely full. So we're gonna focus again on just pacing, and we're gonna start out on the Brooks. If I get a mile out and like they are hurting, I'll probably turn around and come back, change into the New Balances, and then do the last 6 on the New Balances. We're gonna try and avoid that. I would like just this to be like a nice fluid run. And just lastly, before we wrap up and get running here again, I know I mentioned, and I've mentioned a couple of times this week, that like running can be hard. It can be hard to train. It can be hard to fit all the things for your life in, and kind of stay on top of the schedule. You know, procrastination is my biggest issue. And I did, you know, I was thinking about it. I think I did procrastinate these runs a little bit. I think there were a couple of times where I didn't sleep much this week, but I could have gotten up and gone out for a run. And, you know, it's okay that I didn't. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm going to follow that rule. But in thinking about what might have been better, like it might have been better for me to split all of my runs up into smaller runs across the week and do, you know, basically be out there every single day, rather than doing what I've done this week, which is the 2-mile shakeout and then, you know, having a 6, a 5, and then an 8 back to back to back. It's fine. Like, my body is holding up pretty well, but when you're training for these races, especially if you're newer to it, like you do have to just temper yourself against injury. And I would say that doing your runs back to back to back like this, that is a recipe to be injured. So as far as like next steps and plans go, we'll talk about that after the run, I guess, actually, because I have some thoughts about this base block and how it's going, and so I'll share those after the run is over. Yeah, we're gonna go out for an 8, gonna keep the heart rate low. I should have an easier time than I did last week keeping it low today. I hope, we'll see. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, about a quarter mile in. I'm feeling sore today. This is what I was talking about, the procrastination. You know, it'll get you. Sometimes with running, it's not about willpower. It's about careful forethought and planning. And when you don't do that, it can kind of come back to bite you in the ass. I'm gonna take it easy today. It'll be fine, but plan your runs better. Don't be like me. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, guys, 1 mile down, 9:54 pace. Feeling good, but probably gonna slow up, try and do a 10:30 for the next mile. See you guys again soon. All right, guys, still out here in mile 1. Gonna hit mile 2 in about half a mile here. But I was thinking about different types of fatigue that you encounter when training for races or when doing them. And there's several that come top of mind. 1, mental fatigue. 2, heart rate fatigue. 3, muscle fatigue. And 4, injury fatigue. For mental fatigue, the answer 99% of the time, whether you're actually doing a race or you're out training, is willpower. For heart rate fatigue, if you're out for a training run, the answer 99% of the time is not willpower. It's slowing down, walking. That might require some willpower. For muscle fatigue, it depends. If it's race day, willpower. If you're out for a training run, it might be to actually cut back on the distance that you're running that day. And injury fatigue, the answer 99% of the time, even on race day, is to cut back, slow down, SOS, and deal with it. We're gonna talk more about that in the car, but it's just something to keep in mind. There's different responses to different types of fatigues that you encounter. All right, I'll see you guys at mile 2. All right, mile 2 done, 10:17 pace. Heart rate's been rocking right around 140. It's 150 right now. We're gonna try for an 11-minute mile for this next one. Let's see if we can do a reverse split. I'll see you guys soon. On this run today, we are encountering a little bit of mental fatigue for sure. Not really muscle, like legs aren't hurting too bad. And the heart rate, it's honestly staying mostly under control. But mentally, it's been a long couple days of running, and sometimes like your brain just kind of can feel that. And so when you have that mental fatigue, it is really just a willpower and push through sort of thing. Unless you're severely overtrained, in which case it might be a good idea to think about cutting back the miles a little bit. So just a little update there. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, mile 3 wrapped up. 10:30 pace. Getting closer to that 11. We'll try that for mile 3 to 4 here. I'll catch you guys again soon. About 30 minutes in, having a little strawberry banana goo. Hoping this will bring me back to life here. Definitely have some just strong mental fatigue, so maybe this little bit of carbs will get me there. Strawberry banana used to be my favorite flavor, but I think I'm on to a little bit of a caramel kick right now. Don't have a caramel today though. I have this strawberry banana and a jet blackberry. Anything tastes good when you're this hungry. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, guys, just wrapped up mile 4. It's a 12:46. It's good. We wanted that. We wanted kind of the really nice and slow and steady run. The goo did give me a little bit more life, so I think we'll be able to get some good pacing out of these last couple miles here. But it just brings up a point, like, this channel isn't about vanity, you know? Like, I'm showing you guys my raw mile times that are honestly terrible compared to what most people are going to be doing. I'm just showing you guys what it looks like to actually be a normal person and just train for these races. I mean, I just showed you my 6 pull-ups, you know? Like, that's the best I got right now. Maybe I could squeeze 10 out, you know, if I really put my mind to it. Your exercise, like your running, your lifting, whatever it is, like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It's just important that you get out there and do it. You're gonna be a better person for it. So, just what I'm thinking about right now. I'll see you guys again at mile 5. All right, just wrapped up mile 5, 10:54 pace. Heart rate's hovering about 145 right now, hovering above 145. Feeling pretty good. See you guys again soon. In all honesty, I'm pretty proud of myself for doing this base block where I'm just kind of working on building my base fitness back. But it's getting a little boring. I really love having some variety in my running workouts. And yeah, I'm excited to add that back again. I'm gonna finish this base out strong. I think it's gonna help keep me injury-free for the training, but in running, it's always nice to have some variety to what you're doing. All right, about an hour in, having the second goo, Jet Blackberry. That first one really helped, so hoping this one will kick in a little bit too. I'm definitely tired today, guys. It's all right, you know, this is gonna happen in training. The key is definitely, honestly, eat more and make sure that you're not just eating junk too. I know a lot of times, for me personally, I'll get in a trap where I'm like, oh, I'm running, you know, 30, 40, 50 miles a week. I can eat whatever I want. I just need calories. That's true to an extent, but you're definitely gonna feel better if you eat better. You know, the calories are non-negotiable and they'll make you, you know, be able to have some fuel to run, but eating healthier, you're gonna burn more efficiently. So definitely something to think about. Don't just eat the shit. Eat something that's gonna make your body feel good as well. You're already putting enough stress on it with this running, so I'll see you guys again soon. All right, mile 6 down. Yeah, mile 6 down. 11 minutes, 10-second pace. Goo kind of helped, not entirely. I'll see you guys again at mile 7. All right, just wrapped up mile 7, 10:25 pace. Feeling good. Let's finish this out strong. I'll see you guys at the car. All right, guys. Just finished up. That last mile was a, I think a 9-minute pace. We finished in an hour and 24 minutes. So I'll put the Strava right here for you guys. Pretty decent run overall. I mean, I was tired throughout most of it. That's okay. You know, you're going to get tired. So it's fine. Couple of things we talked about on this run, or one thing that we talked about, one thing that I thought about that I wanted to wrap up here in the car. First one is the different types of fatigue. So what I mean by that is when you're out for a run, whether it's a training run or an actual race, it's important that your response to how you're feeling is proportional to what's going on and is going to benefit you in the long run. So on race day, like 99% of the time, the answer to all types of fatigue is just to send it and to practice that discipline and just to go super hard. Now, if you're using a race to train for another race, the story is different. It's all about your end goal. And so when I'm talking about mental fatigue, like I experienced today, which honestly was probably a little bit nutritional too. Like I felt better after I ate the goose, which tells me I didn't quite eat enough beforehand like I thought I did. And that's okay, that's just a lesson learned. But for the mental fatigue, you're always gonna wanna push through. Because the mental fatigue, pushing through that is a training stimulus in and of itself. Heart rate fatigue, that's when you get out there for a run and you're like 5 minutes in, your heart rate is at like 160, but you're going, you know, a minute or two slower than your average pace normally. That in that instance, it's really important that you really do dial it back and you start walking in. It's a huge sign that you're overtrained, and you need to correct for that by slowing down and maybe just cutting the run out altogether. Overtraining on top of overtraining can lead to like really serious issues, and I know that from experience. I've done that before. That's a story for a different time. We can talk about it a different time. The next type of fatigue, muscle fatigue. Again, this is one of those things where it kind of depends on where you're at in the run. Like realistically today, based on how I feel right now and how I felt during the run, I probably should have cut back 3 or 4 miles off of that run today instead of going for the full 8. And that's because I want next week to be able to train as hard as I did this week, if not harder. I really want to continue building on that base block, and I don't want to overextend myself. Every time you overextend yourself in training, you take like 3 steps back and you lose some fitness. So it's definitely important to respond appropriately. So sorry, for muscle fatigue, if you're out for a long run and your muscles start to hurt, you do just have to push through. But if beforehand, like if you get up that morning before you go for a run, you're walking around and your legs are like just absolutely shot, first thing to do is go for a walk, get some blood flowing through them, see if you're just a little bit tight from the day before. But if you're still like really struggling and you've got just absolute muscle fatigue, like you're cramping every couple of steps, that sort of thing, like it's time to take the day off. So for muscle fatigue, that's really situationally dependent, like what the response should be. But for the most part, you're gonna push through muscle fatigue unless you're training, unless it's before a training run and it just kind of, it's too much. You have to know yourself a little bit, and I think that there's not a cut and dry answer for that one as much as there is for the heart rate. Heart rate's easy and mental is easy. For the last one, injury, this one is easy too. If you're injured, don't get out there and train. It is going to be worse for you if you have an injury and you get out there and you push harder than taking the day off to, you know, rest up on it. I would recommend, if you are somebody with a job, a family, full-time, whatever, I would recommend finding like a good physical therapist and just kind of keep them on rotation. You don't have to go every week, but it's really nice to have one in the back pocket to call up, be like, hey, listen, I'm training for this thing. I have this, you know, nagging thing that's popping up. You get in there to see them, you know, sometimes they can fix you up right there in that moment, like right there on the day that you go. So I would definitely recommend building a relationship with one. You know, it's something that I started doing, it's been about 4 years now that I started going to go see one, and I've been through a couple, but yeah, it's just made the world of difference for me having that, because the other thing about that too is it takes a huge mental load off of you. If you're out there training for something and you injure something and you're trying to like DIY, like recover your injury, that's a lot of mental stress. Whereas if you could get in to see a physical therapist, they can tell you 99% of the time, hey, it's going to take this long for it to heal probably, and you can train on top of it or you can't. And then they'll give you advice for how to keep meeting your goal based on the injury, And so I just think it's a huge mental relief to have somebody that you can call in the instance that something goes wrong, and they can kind of help keep you on track for your race. They can help keep you on track for your race. If you live in the Raleigh-Durham area, leave a comment. I'm happy to give you some suggestions for some physical therapists that I know that are great around here. So a little bit of recap and a little bit of plan. We're gonna get moving here. We'll see if this tripod stays up while I'm driving. If it doesn't, that's fine. We'll just have a little frame cut and I'll hold it again. That lasted all of 2 seconds. Okay, so as far as this week goes for training, we hit 21 miles. Probably should have cut back today. So don't let your pride get in the way of your progress when you're training. I think pride is what sent me on that 8-mile run today instead of letting it be a 4 or 5. I wanted to get above that 20-mile threshold, and so, whatever. I'm glad that I got out there and did it, but at the same time, I probably would have had a little bit more gas in the tank next week if I didn't. So we hit a 2-mile, a 6-mile, a 5-mile, and an 8-mile run this week. They all went well, and even though we were struggling with the heart rate and just the overall performance on Friday with the 6-mile run, I think that the week ended out strong in that, I think that my average heart rate for this run that I just did is going to be in the upper 140s, which is fantastic. That's right where I'm comfortable with. If it's in the low 140s, I'll be thrilled. So next week, I think we'll probably bump up the mileage a little bit to 25. I'm headed to New York tomorrow for work, and so I think I'll be able to maintain the same upload schedule, although I didn't this week even. But I think we'll try and go for a Tuesday upload, and Tuesday, Thursday, and then we'll be back in town on Thursday night. And so it'll be the normal long run that we normally see on Sunday for you guys. So we'll bump up to 25 miles because we're feeling really solid at 21. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to some variety. We might even add in on Friday this week, like this coming week, a little bit of like a threshold or interval workout. Just something to show you guys a little bit, just a little bit of a change of pace for what I do when I'm training for these races. This, long, typical slow run. I mean, this is pretty standard for me, but when we talked about in my very first video kind of my goals for this race coming up in March, and I really would like to shave about 2 or 3 hours off of my time from last year because as I said, I just kind of survived. So after this base block, we really do want to start working in some more workouts that are going to help me get there. But I don't think it'll hurt to throw in an interval or a threshold workout into the current rotation here. As far as like nutrition and stuff goes, on the run, I was talking to you guys about just kind of throwing calories down, not really worrying about what it is. I'm preaching to myself there, so I have kind of eaten I've eaten terribly this week, but I've definitely eaten enough calories. So it's going to be hard in New York as well, so I'm going to do my best there. But I think I'm going to focus on trying to up my protein to actually hit the goal of 1 gram per pound of body weight. It's hard. I mean, guys, it is hard to eat 220 grams of protein. I actually don't know what I weigh right now. I might be down to 215. We'll see. I haven't measured myself in a couple of weeks here. Regardless, we're going to try and hit the protein goal. Let me know if you guys want to see a full day of eating. I'll do a full day of eating where I actually eat well and, I eat optimally, not just, Jersey Mike's and something crazy for dinner. It's so easy when you run, guys, and especially when you get to some of these bigger distances. Like, you can throw some food down, right? At least I can. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments if you do. But it's tough because, you get so hungry. It's very taxing to, I wouldn't say taxing. It is. It's taxing on your body to put all these miles on your legs. And I always find that one of my favorite parts of training is that I can just kind of throw down some food. I definitely love that. Yeah, so tomorrow, no long form, but there'll be a short up. It'll be short about my 5 mile little run yesterday. Oh, I forgot about the last piece that I wanted to touch on. You know what? We'll save that for a different video. I just got home. I want to spend some time with the family. Again, thank them for, letting me go out on a long hour-and-a-half run in the middle of the day on a Sunday. So I'm gonna go do that. Yeah, but thanks for coming on this run with me, guys. It was a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.